All right, Emerald Robinson for us at the White House. We'll see you again very soon, Emerald. Thanks so much. Let's also check in with Rick Grenell. He's the former U.S. ambassador to Germany, the acting director of national intelligence under President Trump. Rick, great to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so the world's autocrats are watching them. One of them meeting with President Biden today. That's Turkey's Erdogan. But when you have a guy like Erdogan who's buying ballistic missiles from Russia, you also have President Biden saying the NATO Article 5 is sacrosanct here. It's incredibly important. How can you have a NATO ally like Turkey buying missiles from Russia and President Biden still touting Article 5 of the NATO Charter?
Look, this is a very difficult situation because Turkey is a member of NATO and we have a treaty obligation, and NATO is the most successful organization in the history of the world, but it is struggling. We need to be able to reform NATO. We need Europeans to pay their fair share, which they're not. Germany in particular, which has a surplus, is not paying its 2% mandated percentage. And this is a percentage that the Germans have agreed to. It's a very difficult situation when you talk about Turkey because the reality is they are in NATO. They're getting some of the intelligence. They're a part of this very successful alliance. And so you've got to have an American president who stays very firm and uses leverage with the Turks. The President Trump had a difficult relationship with the Turks because he was constantly pushing them, using his leverage to get them to not get so close to Russia. It was a difficult task, one of the most difficult tasks that we faced in the Trump administration. The problem, John, that we have now is we have a very weak president who values happy talk, who values people clapping for him. And so you saw that clip, which is horrifying, where he's sitting with leaders and the British leader is literally putting his hand over multiple times to tell Joe Biden, they're there, Joe. Yeah. We got this. It's ignoring our president. And the Europeans are doing a very good job of playing him.
It's a clear sign of disrespect. We see the hand motion right there. That's not the type of deference you'd expect from the British Prime Minister towards the American president. Forget about the personalities involved here. Just the natural kind of body language in that moment. You know, we also see all these staged kind of events at NATO and at the G7 summit, and they're really good at this stuff, the Europeans, whether it's in Davos or the G7, the step and repeats and the news conferences and the pretty backgrounds. But when it comes to getting stuff done, they're not actually very good at this. That's why I always look at this clip of President Trump at the NATO summit back in 2017. I think it's very it's a great metaphor for what President Trump did while he was president at NATO. That's the Prime Minister of Montenegro. Sorry, he was in the way here. But he put America's interests first because America pays for the vast majority of NATO. He got Germany to chip in a little bit more, and you did as well while you were the ambassador. But this is what we get from Joe Biden. This is the contrast that we have right now with the current president. Here he is.
I'm going to get in trouble with my staff. Yeah, go ahead, but I pretend that you didn't answer you.
You know, you got one president pushing out the Prime Minister of Montenegro. You got the other guy concerned he's going to get in trouble for taking questions from the press. What are we supposed to do with this, Ambassador?
Look, John, you hit it on the head with the pomp and circumstance that the Europeans like. And some of that is important. And let's just be very clear that diplomacy is a tactic. It's not a goal. Our goal isn't to have meetings. Diplomacy is how you get to your goal. And the Europeans are fantastic at playing Joe Biden, putting him in the chair as one of the leaders, but ignoring him and playing him and complimenting him. And the Biden team falls for it. They keep pushing this. We're back. The world loves us. And the Europeans love the fact that Joe Biden comes to Europe and embraces all of that pomp and circumstance. But the reality is that we have to hold diplomacy to results. Did you get what you want? Did the United States get what you want? And clearly what's happening here is that the Europeans are getting what they want. They're getting a Russian pipeline. They're getting unfettered access to China. They're getting more troops in Europe. they're not having to pay their fair share. I could go on the list of things. And you know who else is really happy with Joe Biden? Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking, he's watching all of this, kind of licking his chops for this meeting. They're not going to do that joint press conference, which is probably a smart move. I think you might agree with that. But I think you said it better than I did, Rick. For a lot of these bureaucrats, especially in Europe, the goal is just having the meeting, going to the resort, being there, getting on TV, not actual results, unfortunately. When you guys push for results, of course, they didn't like that. I saw that Mario Draghi today, the Italian prime minister, throwing a shot at President Trump. Of course, they like the fact that he's not there, not holding them accountable for their end of the deal. Great to see you. Ambassador Rick Grenell, thanks so much for your time.
Nice to see you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.